All right, welcome back to Bayou Time. We appreciate you joining us. Tanner Magee, our state rep pro temp. He's going to sit in with us, and we appreciate him doing that. We also have Mr. Gerard Hammink. He's the FEMA Public Information Officer. And Mr. Hammink, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, so let's find out, where are we? I guess we could talk New Orleans a lot, but we're sort of greedy over here. We want to know about Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish, because New Orleans does get a lot of attention, and
they do
quite a bit. So maybe give me an update on our area.
Okay. So, so for statewide, FEMA has approved more than 532,000 applications for assistance. In Terrebonne, that number is about 31,000, and I didn't write down the number for Lafourche. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So. And then that means that's grants totaling about, for the state, $834 million. And for Terrebonne, that number is $98 million. Now, I saw an interesting figure. So this, for repair grants, the average for the state is about $5,200. For Terrebonne, the average is about $9,400, and what impacts how much you're going to get for a repair grant can depend on your just lots of things, including your insurance coverage, whether you were fully insured or not. But it probably also indicates the amount of damage.
Yeah, I'd like
in
to
this
think
area.
It probably goes by where the eye wall went right over, which is Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish.
So then I also can tell you, we've had a disaster recovery center at the Houma Civic Center since September 21st, and they've had 4,052 visitors so far. Mm-hmm. So, and they're going to remain open. I just want everyone to know that they're open 7 days a week, 9 to 6. Any survivor who's applied can go to any disaster recovery center. That's convenient to them, but if the one at the Houma Civic Center is convenient to you, you can go there. And it has been busy, and they've added some workers caseworkers to try to take care of that busyness.
Gerard, let me ask you this, because in Tana, maybe you could join in on this. It seems to me, and you seem like a very nice person. Everybody from FEMA that we met, very, very nice people. But when you change the guard, like the first time I meet you today on the air, when you change the guard, is it a disadvantage for you to keep the ball rolling, or do you have to relearn everything that the person learned in a month who is leaving now, or do they brief you pretty well on that?
They briefed me pretty well. I mean, when I came into Louisiana, I didn't have to immediately start doing interviews. I got a couple days to get up to speed. It is a busy time of year for FEMA, so I can tell you that before I was here, I was in Middle Tennessee for a month, and that was after the bad flooding they had there in the Waverly area, kind of west of Nashville. And so there's different reasons why FEMA people are moving about it, but part of it is because we're responding to disasters. And so while each area is unique, there are some similarities as far as talking about the kind of programs that are available. And so what I had to get up to speed on is things that are unique to this area that didn't necessarily come into play in Middle Tennessee, for instance, where there were fewer people impacted. It wasn't as a large of a impact.
And before we take the first break, I don't want to be accusing anything. I'm just saying I think a lot of people cast aspersions that when they come down, especially if they're not from this area, that is New Orleans, Baton Rouge. I think probably now, there is Terrebonne and Lafourche, and people are desperate to get recognized. Have you sort of gathered that while being on the ground?
Well, I get, you know, I'm wearing my FEMA shirt, and people, you know, they notice that, and they, sometimes I get the thumbs up, and other times people just say to me, well, how much money they got and how it wasn't enough, and I completely understand because it's not, the program isn't designed to, the main, you know, assistance program isn't designed to be a replacement for insurance. It's just supposed to be a help. So that a repair grant, for instance, just is an estimate for the amount of money you would need to get your housing livable again.
Y'all come in, y'all ready to go. I meet with all of y'all. Man, we need trailers, we doing it. And y'all send up the acquisition, then the acquisition gets bogged down. Y'all have done your job, but it seems like it hits a little road bump further up. Can you give me some information on how quick we're going to see these?
Well, I can give you, a little bit of information. I know that the process takes longer than anyone would like because it's, and I don't love this comparison, but it's a sort of like a mini construction project because, and I can describe that. But what I want everyone to know is that the trailers and mobile homes, they are rolling in. What we call a haul and install work order has been written, and so I don't know exactly how many units have been placed on private properties at this point, but I know some have. And what I can tell you is that there's, but really the main activity still going on right now is the interviews, the pre-placement interviews to find out from the survivors exactly what they need and what they want. And then if, for instance, they want a mobile home on their private property, then that triggers an inspection of their property to see if that's going to work. And then if that's going to work, then, then the haul install order is placed. And then we get it's delivered, then it has to be placed, and then it has to be set up. And set up, includes water, sewer, electric. Electric often is a sticking point, how long that takes. So that's something that, you just have to be aware of. It takes some time to connect, and that's, connecting with the contractors for that.
And let me ask you this, and don't take this personal, because
No.
like I said, it's not you, but I have Representative Magee sitting here. We've been literally screaming and hollering for people to get trailers for 2 months now, and it bogs down. It seems like we're still in the process of screening where we ought to have trailers rolling into the parish at this point.
Yeah, I can't give you the numbers on the state's IDA sheltering program. I know that is underway as well, and FEMA, agreed to fund that because this, the state, working with, talking to all officials, said let's try this. Let's see if this can be a help to people.
Well, we'll let
who are
Mr.
really
Magee,
struggling.
is it working at this point?
We only got about, as of Friday, we had 29 trailers delivered to actual residents. They're stuck at the Superdome, at the Civic Center,
Yeah.
and then at Blue Bayou and Baton Rouge, the two staging places. It seems to be a logjam of actually getting them to residents right now, though.
Yeah.
But I'd also ask you, I was told by FEMA today, earlier, that FEMA's now going door to door in a lot of communities. Are they doing the pre-interviews, or are they just?
No, FEMA representatives have been going door to door from just the days after the disaster, and that's another outreach effort that not everyone hears and reads and knows about everything that FEMA can do. So that is an effort that happens after every disaster, in every disaster response, where people go door to door. It's just another outreach effort. So that is not something new that's been going on. In fact, I think they're approaching, wrapping up that door to door effort of signing people up, giving them information and so forth.
And I will say this, because I don't want to sit here and beat up on y'all, because I haven't passed storms, because I never saw FEMA. I've seen FEMA knocking door to door. They have a ground attack that's pretty good. They're getting out. I'm not saying they always give people the full amount they deserve, but they're at least putting money on the streets. If I had any complaints, it would be the speed by which the trailers are hitting Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish. They're at a snail's pace, and if you have any pipeline or any suggestions, just tell them, okay, I'm going on there and I'm getting beat up because the trailers are slow. Speed it up so I don't get beat up.
I don't know why it gets bogged down. I think that I have to be honest with you, and you're not, and I'm not, someone like me, I'm not supposed to say that, but you know,
I appreciate the honesty.
It's slow. I think it's what I want to assure people of is that the slowness it's not gonna mean come to a halt. Then it's a steady progress. And look, we talked about where I was, and we come and go. I was actually in Lake Charles, or last disaster season. I was in Lake Charles, Louisiana, from October through April, and it was slow, but it got done. They brought in the trailers, they brought in the mobile homes, and so FEMA keeps going. They keep marching. FEMA doesn't give up. That's the thing that people don't need to realize about this whole effort. It's going to keep going until it's done.
Yeah, I think you made a good point. Y'all been in Lake Charles, and y'all should have been out of Lake Charles and into Terrebonne and Lafourche. And look, once again, I know it's lighthearted and we're serious at the same time. We're pushing for things to get done.
Absolutely.
I did a story this morning in La Rose, and we did it, and it was a follow-up story where a man had been pretty heavily damaged, and he had a trailer on his property, and I said, well, looks to me you got your FEMA trailer in, and he said, no, my insurance company allowed me to get it. It's a small insurance company, and I think that's the frustration that we're trying to maybe use you to pass on to the higher-ups, because once again, you're on the ground and you're doing your job. But maybe you can get them the information that it's frustrating to see these trailers. They're available. People are getting them through their insurance company, but FEMA's taking so long to get them down. I'm sure y'all have addressed that at some kind of board capacity at one point or other. Is that true?
That I think that the speed is talked about at the higher levels, but I haven't been involved in those discussions.
Do y'all know if y'all are still on target to have mid-November to really be installing trailers? That's what I was originally told.
That was a conservative estimate, and as I said, and I do know, I did notice, when I first came in that message said we were hoping to place the first household by mid-November, and there have been a few households placed. But so that's
what do you mean by households place? I'm sorry.
Like a household has gotten the keys to a trailer.
Okay.
So, and as I said, there's many more that are that are being gotten ready. So we're gonna beat that conservative estimate of mid-November.
I know I asked you about Terrebonne. You said Terrebonne had 98 million on the ground. What about Lafourche?
Lafourche had 80 million.
Okay.
And
So
it doesn't go as quickly as we would like. I think it's part of just the whole how recovery just takes a long time, and
you would think we'd have the system down.
Yeah, all I can just do is try to accurately describe what the steps are that do add time to the whole process. And
see, our
many of them are about safety.
Our sheriff got 29 trailers in 3 weeks ago. We did a story on it, and his trailers are housing sheriff's deputies. And I mean, it seems like you're right, and it's not your fault. I want to make sure that people know that the private sector or the sectors that can use different funds to get trailers in are doing much better than the federal end of it. And if you could just bring one message back, just tell them we need it faster. That would be the message.
Yeah. I can say that I know that FEMA is very careful with the whole program, and there are inspections along the way to make sure that everything is going to be safe in the end. And so that's something that can assure people, make people feel good about when they, do get a unit, that it's passed inspections after, being, after travel, after installation. FEMA's not going to hand over the keys until, FEMA's assured that it's, safely.
No, I get it.
100%
I get it. You don't want formaldehyde like we had in the past, but instead of the federal government spending $1 billion on why a rash develops on a seal's butt, maybe we could get a federal yard where we have trailers coming out the wazoo, that when we have a disaster, let's go. Let's deploy. Have a stockpile instead of reacting all the time to these disasters. So if you can, just bring that home.
Okay.
Tana, anything?
No, that's the one thing I've never understood, why we don't have 500 to 1,000 trailers ready to go right after the storm breaks, just to bring them in and begin the process. It seems like it takes a long time, and we're reinventing the process every single time.
Well, we appreciate it, Gerard. Gerard, you got the last 90 seconds. We'll let you end on what you want to talk about.
Well, I just wanted to add, for people who have flood insurance, and many people do, there's a grace period after a hurricane where if your normal renewal date was around this time, you have extra time to renew the policy. But it's important to do that. So this might be a good time to remind, because right now about 6,000 policies in the affected parishes have expired, and that's understandable because people have been busy with other things.
Well, it's because the rates went up too.
Well, those rate increases are slowly, going in. So talk to your insurance agent about, when you have to renew by, because of the grace period after the hurricane, and what the rates are, because it's different for everyone. And I know that the goal of the new rate program is to just make it more fair for everyone who has flood insurance. So the rates are going to go down for some people and go up for the ocean up front mansions.
We're out of time. Thank you, Mr. Hammink. Thank you, Dana. We appreciate it.
Thank
We'll
you.
be back in a short.